Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, गिरंद्रा श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 13, Rahugana converses with Jadbharat, text 24. So it's a prose verse, you need not repeat after me. I'll just chant the verse Shri Shuka Uvacha iti evam uttara mata savai brahmarshi sutaha sindhupataya atma sattvatvam viganayata paranubhavaha paramakarunika tayopadishya rahu ganena sakarunam abhivandita charana apurnarnava iva nibrihta Karanormya Ashayo Dharnim Ima Vichachara. What meanings? Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, Iti evam, in this way, Uttara Matmataha, O Maharaj Parikshit, son of Mother Uttara, Saha, that Brahmana, why indeed, Brahma Rishi Sutaha, Jad Bharat, the son of a highly educated Brahmana, Sindhu Pataye, unto the king of the province of Sindhu, Atmasa, Tattvam, the actual constitutional position of the soul. Viganayataha, although insulting Jad Bharat. Para Anubhavaha, who was very exalted in spiritual realization. Parama Karunikataya, by his quality of being very kind to the fallen souls. Upadishya, instructing. Rahuganena, by King Rahugana. Sa Karunam, piteously. Abhivandita Charanaha, whose lotus feet were worshipped. Apurna Arnavaha Iva, like the full ocean. Nibritha, completely silenced. Karana, of the senses. Urmi, the waves. Ashayaha, processing a heart in which. Dharanim, the earth. Imam, this. Vichachara, continued to roam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Srila Sukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, O son of Mother Uttara, there were some waves of dissatisfaction in the mind of Jad Bharat due to his being insulted by King Rahugana, who made him carry his palanquin. But Jad Bharat neglected this, and his heart again became calm and quiet like an ocean. Although King Rahugana had insulted him, he was a great Paramahamsa. Being a Vaishnava, he was naturally very kind-hearted, and he therefore told the king about the constitutional position of the soul. He then forgot the insult because King Rahugana pitifully begged pardon at his lotus feet. After this, he began to wander all over the earth, just as before. Purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25-21, Kapila Dev describes the symptoms of great personalities. Titiksha Karunika Suhrada Sarvadehinam. A saintly devotee is certainly very tolerant. He is the friend of all living entities, and he does not create enemies within the world. A pure devotee has all the qualities of a sadhu. Jad Bharat is an example of this. Due to the material body, his senses were certainly agitated when he was insulted by King Rahugana. But later, due to the king's humble submission, Jad Bharat excused him. It is the duty of everyone desiring to return to Godhead to become submissive like King Rahugana and beg pardon of Vaishnava one may have offended. Vaishnavas are generally very kind-hearted. Therefore, if one immediately submits himself at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, one is immediately cleared of offensive reactions. If one does not do so, the reactions will remain and the results will not be very palatable. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guraho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravari Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna. Welcome you all for this Saturday morning Bhagavatam discourse. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5. So we're continuing the discussion or the story of Jadabharat and Maharaj Rahugana. So what is the situation, instances? So basically Krishna comes in this material world in various forms, just to help the conditioned living entities to attract to him and go back to the Godhead, return back to Godhead. So there are various ways, and one of the form is the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Kali Rupe, Kali, what is that verse? Kali Kale, Nama Rupa, Krishna Avatar. So Krishna comes in the form of holy name. Krishna sends his devotees, and he personally comes as Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita we see chapter 4 verse number 7 and 8. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanav dharmasya tadatmana srijamnaham paritranaya vinashaya cha dharma samstapa sambhavami. So in these two verses he's telling various reasons why he comes. So when the adharma increases, dharma decreases. He comes to establish that and protect his devotees. So when he personally comes, he does all the pastime just to attract us and claim us back to Godhead. And when he goes back, then what is the shelter? Srimad Bhagavatam. So Shukadeva Goswami says this, in the Bhagavatam it comes. So when the Lord returned back to the Godhead, so all the devotees are searching what is the shelter for all of us, for the Kali Yuga Jivas. They tell this, the Srimad Bhagavatam is the shelter for everyone. Then what is the result of hearing or discussing Srimad Bhagavatam? So before every Bhagavatam class, we chant this prayers, right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And Narayanam Namaskrityam. And next, Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. Whatever Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu, all the Abhadras which are there in the heart will be destroyed. Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. When he does, Nityam, all the time or regularly. Bhagavati Uttama Shlokte Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. So here the word Naistika means coming to the platform of Nishta. So when one hears Bhagavatam nicely. So what happens? All the abhadras, anarthas will be destroyed, and he'll come to the platform of Nistha. So still in the platform Nistha only, still there are many others, but one can come to the platform of Nistha. So one hears. So this is the result of hearing or being associating with Bhagavatam. But how to do this? Another beautiful verse comes. 284, I was just meditating on this, in the other class also discussing this. 284. Shrunvataha shraddhaya nityam grinatascha svacheshtitam kalena nati dirghena bhagavan vishate hridi. Shrunvataha, of those who are hearing, shraddhaya, with earnest eagerness and conviction that Bhagavatam is Lord Krishna himself. That when I hear Bhagavatam, discuss Bhagavatam, I'll be completely purified with this conviction. And after having this conviction, that eagerness, when one hears in that attitude, what happens? Granatascha swachestitam. And not just hearing, granatascha swachestitam, trying to apply in one's own life whatever discussed. What happens? Kalena nati dirghena. Kala means time. Kalena nati dirgha. Dirgha means very long time. Nati dirghena means very less time. It's a short time, not long time. It's a very short time. What happens? Bhagavan vishate hridi. Lord will manifest in the hearts of those hearers of Srimad Bhagavatam. The only thing is the attitude of hearing or being associating with the Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, the same thing is repeated again and again, maybe in different stories, reviving the same absolute truth about the Supreme Lord Krishna and how this whole creation was made. So what is the goal of life? Attain the Krishna Prema. And all the case studies were described in this Bhagavatam in various ways. Finally, the philosophy is the same. So the same repetition is happening. But how we are hearing or discussing, that is what the matters. Hearers are many, speakers are many, but the result is different. Because the attitude of a hearer and the speaker is different. So in this way, we can start with the Bhagavatam. So we're seeing this chapter 13, Rahugana converses with Jadbharat. So we'll repeat the translation once again. Srila Shukadeva Goswami continued, My dear king, O son of Mother Uttara, there were some waves of dissatisfaction in the mind of Jadbharat due to his being insulted by King Rahugana, who made him carry his palanquin. But Jadbharat neglected this, and his heart again became calm and quiet like an ocean. Although King Rahugana had insulted him, he was a great Paramhamsa. Being a Vaishnava, he was naturally very kind-hearted. And he therefore told the king about the constitution position of the soul. He then forgot the insult because King Rahugana pitifully begged pardon at his lotus feet. After this, he began to wander all over the earth, just as before. We know very well how Maharaj Bharat, 2 lives before, he was a great king. So he thought, so let me go for now self-realization. He left his whole empire, the whole planet, earth is under him. He just left it. He left his young wife, he left his young kids and came to the forest and practicing bhakti. But somehow he got attracted to a tiny deer and got misled from the goal of life. And he had to take birth as a deer in the next life. But the best benediction what he got from the Lord is that he could be able to remember his past life. And even in the body of a deer, he remained a sannyas. He was a celibate deer. He didn't engage in any sexual activity and trying to practice being the association of devotees near the sages, trying eating only grass or dried leaves which are there. And after leaving the body, again he takes a birth as Jadbharat now. So why he is known as Jad? He is just trying to meditate on the Lord, posing himself as a madman. Now he could able to remember his past 2 lives also. So this time he don't want to make any mistake in remembering the Lord. So whatever external situations are, just letting it go. He's not being affected because he's completely fixed and focused on his duty. That is to remember the Lord all the time and want to go back to Godhead. Don't want to waste any time. So from this we can understand very nice lesson came from Jadbharat. So when one is fixed in the goal that I want to attain Krishna and nothing else, I just want to serve the Lord and nothing else, then whatever external situations may come, he will not be disturbed. And finally everyone thought, all the family members, that is the nothing, is the no use. So let us keep him in the farmers in the agricultural land to just drive away all the birds. And he was doing this job, simultaneously remembering the Lord. And at what particular point of time, some dacoits came and they want to give bali to Mother Kali. And they saw this human, that is Jad Bharat. He was a dumb fellow, nothing happened. So let's take him and give bali to the Mother Kali. And they took him, and he was not agitated. He was peaceful. Okay, you want to take me? Please come. He was receiving nicely. Took him, and he was ready to be chopped off his head in front of Mother Kali. But it is peaceful, no tension, just remembering the Lord. And when the dacoits are about to cut off his head from his body, then Mother Kali personally, from the deity, she erupts along with her associates also, witches, and cut off all the heads of all the other dacoits. So this says, when one is completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even other living entities, that even demigods, they will support that particular devotee. Many people have this doubt. So should I do only this thing? Only surrender to Krishna? Should I worship others also? That is a question. Here we can see very nicely. No need to worship any other demigod. You can just surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Need not take any other shelter in this material world. So even the whole world, all the demigods will be support in that particular devotee. And after this, again he went back to his work, driving away the birds in the farm. And later, the king Rahugana was coming in the palanquin, being carried by his assistants. But somehow one of the assistants is not able to go on with the process, the path. So they saw Jad Bharat, and they asked Jad Bharat to come and move this palanquin. And Jad Bharat started helping it. But Jad Bharat is a great devotee. How can he harm others? So while they were carrying the palanquin, so there are small insects, ants on the land. So he's not stepping on them, he's just moving here and there. And because of his movement, the whole palanquin was moving. And this king Rahugana got very much agitated. He started blasting at Jad Bharat. You idiot, you fat soul, what are you doing? You don't know how to move the palanquin? He started blasting, many things happened. And he started blasting all the stuff, your bad soul, fat soul, something is telling. Then Rahugana told, Jad Bharat tells, I am not this body, I am spirit soul. With this one statement, Rahugana got shocked. He is not a normal personality. He's a great soul. He got down from the palanquin and he paid full dandavat to Jad Bharat and asked for forgiveness. Please forgive me. You are not a normal soul. You are speaking the great philosophy. Please forgive me. And he started, Bhagavad Gita class started there. Just like Arjuna and Krishna, Bhagavad Gita class started. And a lot of discussion is asking about the philosophy of this world, how this creation happened, what is the duty of a spirit. So everything started happening. And this is the conclusion to today's verse. And the next two more verses are there. So after telling this everything, so finally he's asking for the forgiveness. Maharaj Rahugana from Jad Bharat. You are such a great soul. Please forgive me. In the previous last 2-3 verses also same context. He was asking for the forgiveness. So in the past 2 verses he's telling, it is not at all wonderful just simply by being covered by the dust of your lotus feet, one immediately attains the platform of your devotional service, Adokshaja, which is not available even to the great demigods like Brahma. By associating with you just like for a moment, I am now freed from all argument, false prestige and lack of discrimination, which are the roots of entanglement in the material world. Now I am free from all these problems. The next verse immediately. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the great personalities, whether they walk on the earth's surface as the children, young boys, avadutas or great brahmanas. If they are chidden under different guises, I offer my respects to all of them. By their mercy, may there be good fortune in the royal dynasties that are always offending them. And this particular translation completely showing that how he's surrendering to Jad Bharat and seeking his forgiveness. So in this story, so discussion happening in this particular chapter especially. So before this chapter, Rahugana was a little confused about the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. So he was asking, can you please elaborate a little more? I didn't understand. Then he gives a story, allegorical story, to understand the situation of a spirit soul. So this story goes like this. So just like when a merchant enters the forest to get some wood, fruits, to do some business and maintain his family. He enters the forest, but after entering the forest, so what happens? He loses his sight, he loses his goal, and there are many plunderers, dacoits who capture this person, take away money from him, beat him nicely, chastise him nicely. And these plunderers were described or compared as the senses. 6 senses. Plunder a living soul, spirit soul. And later, very strong statements this were. So His Holiness Bhaktivika Swami Maharaj in the book Brahmachari in Krishna Consciousness. So there he recommends, so if one wants to completely dedicate his life away from sense enjoyment, so what he should do? So Maharaj recommends, he has to read these 2 chapters. Canto 5, chapter 30 and chapter 14. So very strong. Whoever realizes this, he will be completely detached from this material world and completely attached to the Lord. So there in this chapter he says that all the senses are like plunderers, and jackals, wolves, lions, like these carnivorous animals will be there. And these carnivorous animals are compared to like family members, like wives, children and other relatives, who suck the blood from the head of the family. And also there is a black hole in this forest which is covered by the grass, into which one may fall down, and there is no question of rescue. And being suffered in this way in the material forest, one is also victimized by many desires, and to satisfy such desires, so he works very hard day and night, and finally gets frustrated. Maybe little happiness he gets. So, but the statement made here, so he is captivated by temporary happiness and become aggrieved by so-called distress. Actually, one simply suffers in this forest from the so-called happiness and distress. Sometimes he is attracted by women, and other than his wife also, and thus he thinks he enjoys extramarital love with another woman, and because of this what happens? He is attacked by various diseases, by lamentation and by summer and winter. Thus one within the forest of the material world suffers the pains of material existence. Expecting to become happy, the living entity changes his position from one place to another place. But actually a materialistic person within the materialist world is never ever happy. Being constantly engaged in materialistic activities, he is always disturbed. He forgets that one day he is going to die. He forgets that. Although he suffers severely, being illusioned by the material energy, he still hankers after material happiness. In this way, he completely forgets his relationship with the Supreme Lord. By hearing this from Jadabhara, the whole story, this is the summary of this chapter. So after by hearing this from Jadabharat, Maharaj Rahugan revived his Krishna consciousness. Just 1 hour, 2 hours of Bhagavatam plus, that's it, finished. He revived his Krishna consciousness and thus benefited from Jadabharat's association. He could understand that his illusion was over, and he begged pardon from Jadabharat for his misbehavior. At this, all this was told by Maharaj Parikshit to Shukadeva Goswami. So this particular translation, so telling Shukadeva Goswami is describing to Maharaj Parikshit. So Jadabharat goes back in his own way. So we can see the same thing in his father also, Rishabdev. He gave up everything, and just as Avadut, he was moving on the world just like this. And he was gone through various circumstances by which he is not affected. The same thing we can observe even in Jadabharat also. So if one is in the bodily conception of life, defending becomes more important than the other things: eating, sleeping, mating and defending. So when one is engaged in eating, sleeping, vagera, if you get some calamity, some disturbance, so what he does? Immediately defends. If you see in our pigeons, when we offer some food, they'll be eating all the time in fearfulness. If someone is coming or not, just looking all the time in fear, all the time to defend oneself, So if one is in the bodily conception of life, this is what happens, always trying to defend oneself. This is external defending, grossly, and there is subtle defending also. If someone speaks some harsh words, how do you feel? Immediately we defend. He makes tell some corrections to us. Oh Prabhuji, this is not the right. Automatically ego comes into the picture. And we try to defend. Are you right or what? All the time. I am also right, you also done some mistake. So try to defend ourselves. This is in a subtle way when harsh word comes. So this says face is the index of the mind. So whatever is going on in the mind, that can be shown in the face. And mind is connected to the senses. Mind is very nicely connected to the senses. And Narada Muni, when he's giving discourse, Bhagavatam discourse to Prachina Barhi, so there he tells how the senses are connected to the mind and how the mind is connected to the face or the index. By looking at the index of the face, we can understand the mind, and by looking at the mind, we can understand what is the position of the senses. By understanding the mind, one can understand what is his previous life easily. So he's carrying some impressions in the mind right now, and those impressions are coming up from where? From the previous life. So what kind of body he got? This astrology, everything, so it's a science. So there is no some magic, everything is science. So one can understand this, and one mind gets agitated. So how this mind is connected to the senses? Let's observe this. When someone gets angry, so when the mind is connected to the hand, tight slap, feelings are inside in the mind, but the action is outside. When the mind is connected to the mouth, harsh words automatically come. Need not explain also, automatically comes. When the mind is connected to the leg, kick comes. Kick comes. So in this way, everything is connected. The whole body is connected. And these impressions which we have, all these impressions are coming from where? From the desires. So we have that some particular desire to enjoy it. And when we enjoy it, particular sense gratification, that impressions will be there in the mind. And we carry the same impressions in the next life. But how to tolerate this mind, senses, desires? Krishna gives the solution. Matra sparshasthu kaunteya shitoshna sukhadukkada agama paino nityas tam titikshasva bharata. Titikshasva. Just tolerate. Krishna says just tolerate, but we know how just is. Very, very difficult to tolerate. The same question was asked in some of the classes. Some sannyasi was asking this. How we can do this tolerate? How we can tolerate? Some neurologist, doctor, student have been told. So he was telling the whole mechanism of the body. How this whole senses work. So when one gets angry or whatever feelings, emotions, suppose take the anger. So his heart starts beating. His lungs starts beating very heavily. All the neurons, so to use some technical terms. So parasympathetic neuron system that turns to sympathetic nervous system, and all the emotions comes into the picture. And they try to cool it. Why? Relax. Count 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count all these stuffs and relax. This is the way the solution was given. But everything, this is a material, right? It's a mechanical. For some time it will be relaxed. After some time, again it erupts. Then what is the solution then? What is the solution? Coming above the bodily platform. That I am not this body, but the spirit soul. And we see in this particular verse also, Jadabharat is there. He is a little agitated. Which is not telling he is agitated since he is in the mind. Small waves of disturbance came. But again he came back to his position and started speaking about the spirit soul. So this agitation may be in individual, that results in the conflicts between the individual, or maybe in the community or society, or maybe in the nation to nation, planet to planet also sometimes. So what is the solution? Coming about the bodily platform. So Krishna says in second chapter, Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha, upayor api dishtonas tva anyas tattva darshinaha. So those who have seen that sat, that is the truth. So he can come out of this asat. When one contemplates and focuses on sat, he can easily come out of this sat. And that is what Jadabharat is doing here. So when he was slightly disturbed, he came back to the Krishna consciousness again. Sat, that is spirit soul. Then he started giving discourse once again about the spirit soul. And how this comes, how he is able to do this? Because he is able to be detached from the material body. And how this Vairagya comes? Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. This is a Bhakti Yoga. By rendering pure devotional service, one can come to the platform of complete Vairagya. And one comes to the Vairagya platform. So in the purport, Kapila Dev says, one becomes saintly person, and all the good qualities will manifest in that particular person. So what are the good qualities? Tikshashva, Karunika, Suhrida, Sarvadehinam. Titikshva means being tolerant. He is tolerating, and whatever external disturbances he has got, he was suffering, and he will forgive that particular thing, particular person. Whatever disturbance he have got, because of that particular person, he forgives. So it's very, very difficult thing to forgive and seek forgiveness. I was just trying to go through various lectures. So on this particular topic, Radhika Raman Prabhu, he gave 3 parts of seminar from Bhagavatam, taking various instances, how it is very, very difficult to forgive, and very, very difficult to, more difficult than forgiveness, to seek forgiveness. It's very, very difficult. But when it comes to the about the bodily platform, becomes a pure devotee, he can easily forgive or even seek forgiveness. So we'll take few case studies from the great Vaishnava Acharyas, how they are able to forgive in a great mistakes or difficulties what they have gone through. So one such great Vaishnava is Jayadeva Goswami. Jayadeva Goswami, everyone knows, who gave this famous Dashavatara Stotra, which we chant in the everyday Narasimha, a part of it. So Jayadeva Goswami was staying in a place called Ganga Nagar used to stay. So at that time, the king of that particular place is Lakshman Sen. He was also very, very great Vaishnava. So and he was writing great all the bhajans. He was writing Gita Govindam, and all the Vaishnava bhajans very nicely is writing. And the minister got to know there is a great Vaishnava like Jayadeva Goswami. So he went to him, met him. He's got all these wonderful songs, especially this Gita Govindam. And this minister went and told the king, Lakshman Sen, who is also a Vaishnava. And he told, such a great Vaishnava we have in our society, in our kingdom. And he was very much amazed and very much happy, this king. And he thought, let me go and meet him. Then the minister told, no sir, so it's not possible. He was a great Vaishnava. If at all he sees any materialist, he'll just reject it. Just like we have seen the Mahaprabhu, how he rejected. Who is he? Prataprudra. Same thing. Before also it's happening. So because of this, what he did, this Lakshman Sen, even though he's a king, he took away all the stuffs, great amenities, water, dress style, everything. He changed it to a normal Vaishnava, normal dhoti kurta. He went to Jayadeva Goswami's house and he told, I am king, so and so. So I heard that you're a great devotee, great Vaishnava. You're writing these beautiful songs. I want to honor you. I want to sarkat for you. I want to serve you. So you can please come and stay. Why you want to stay in this small hut? Please come stay in my palace. And then Jayadeva Goswami, so he told, you are materialist, king. You're always engaged in materialistic activities. So much of pride. So how can I engage with the materialist? No, I cannot do this. So trying to test the pride of Lakshman Sen. How much is it? After insulting so much, then Lakshman Sen, what is his reaction? He was very humbly told, so it is my misfortune. I am not able to serve you properly. It is my misfortune. Very humbly. Then he was very, very happy looking at this, the attitude of Lakshman Sen. Jayadeva Goswami was very happy and told, no worries, I was just testing you. And he told, so whatever word you have given, it's a declaration, your Vaishnava, whatever great Vaishnava speaks, it should be done. So then he told, okay, need not stay in my palace. So there is a place called Chambahati nearby the kingdom. So I will build you a nice hut, you can please stay there. And as the king desired, so Jayadeva Goswami accepted it. And he was staying there in the hut. And the question comes, king, he's a great king. After even getting so much of chastisement, how could be so cool? So It's a big question, very, very big question. He was a great king. So Prabhupada, when he's in childhood, so along with his father, so they are going to Puri to witness Jagannath Puri Ratha Yatra. So at that time, Prabhupada quotes in his lectures that during that time, so as the train is going, there was a pauper, a beggar, is carrying some few rupees in his hand, and he's counting a few rupees, just few rupees. He's counting and showing his pride. He's a pauper. Then he told, even a pauper is proud of his penny. Even a pauper. Then how could this great king can be without pride? How can he be like this? How can be like this? And later we have a Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So when he was being carried by his assistants in a basket, so when rich person came and he offered us one coin into the basket, and Jagannath Das Babaji was being carried out next and carrying on, and Maharaj told, please wait, my assistants, go back to that so-called rich person and reach that person. He gave that rupee back. O king, your rupee is very, very heavy. I am not able to carry. You are so rich. How are you able to carry this burden? He gave it back. He gave it back. So you can see how he is able to do this. Because he is able to elevate himself. He is a great Vaishnava. Even though he is a materialistic way, since he is a great Vaishnava, he is not being disturbed by the insult given by the other person. So let's come back to the Jayadeva Goswami. So when he was staying in the hut very nicely, so later he was transmigrated to Puri. So there he was staying along with his wife. So they got the deities called Radha Madhav deities, and they wanted to worship Radha Madhav very nicely, elaborately. But he's a poor Brahmana, poor devotee. He don't have money. So what he thought? So let me go out and sing a Gita Govindam, and whatever money I get from the people, from here and there. So with this money, so let worship Radha Madhav. And Jayadeva Goswami went on the streets chanting Gita Govindam. So at a particular point of time, there were some rogues, dacoits, thought this person would have had a lot of money. So they kidnapped Jayadeva Goswami, taken to some forest. They cut off his hands and legs and robbed his money, everything. They threw him on the forest somewhere. And in the Puri at that particular time, that particular king who is there, he was going on the route, and he saw Jayadeva Goswami singing Gita Govindam. He was not crying. He was singing Gita Govindam. He thought he's a great soul, and he took to his palace and taking care of Jayadeva Goswami very nicely. He don't know that he's Jayadeva Goswami. And after some time, he started continuing singing Gita Govindam in the palace. And it's so nice that that king is able to understand he's not a normal devotee, he's a great devotee of the Lord. Then he asked, who are you? Then he revealed himself. Then he thought he's a great soul. And to commemorate this great soul, he's in this palace. So this king wanted to celebrate a great festival in the name of Jayadeva Goswami. He called everyone. So festival means what? All the Brahmanas, they also would come. And the celebration was started. Everyone, many people came. And in them people, there are few Brahmanas. In fact, those dacoits who are there were in the form of a Brahmana. In the disguise as Brahmana came there. And Jayadeva Goswami could identify this. These people are the dacoits who harmed me and robbed me. And looking at them, so he called the king and told, see, you can see both those Brahmanas there. And you know what he told? Any guesses? Punish them? No, he told, see, looking at those Brahmanas. So those Brahmanas are there, please give them more and more charity. So you will be giving some amount of charity which you have fixed, but give them more and more and more. And these dacoits who are in the form of Brahmanas, they could understand some discussion is happening, pointing towards us. And whatever charity they got, they took it and just ran away from that place, fearing that they thought that Jayadeva Goswami told everything to the king, that these are personalities who thought to punish me, robbed me, so that he'll get punished. Then they just ran from that place. And the king saw this and told his assistants, please go and hold them. I want to give charity more and more to them. And this assistant went back and finally caught them. And these assistants of the king were asking, what happened to you? Why are you running? Our king want to give you more and more charity. Why are you going forward? Why are you escaping from this place? Then the dacoits told, no sir, actually this is what happened. So the person sitting over there, so he is the person from whom we have robbed. And they started lying, speaking lies. They told there was a king, so who ordered us. This Jayagudaya Goswami, this personality who is there, is very, very bad personality. So you have to punish them. So that's why I went and punished him. So in this way, these dacoits lied. And after that, what happened? The earth which is there behind them opened and gulped all these dacoits. And the assistants of the king were shocked at this. And they came back to the king and told, this is what happened. And king started asking Jayadeva Goswami, this is what happened. And he told, Jayadeva Goswami the king was asking Jayadeva Goswami, why? You know these are the robbers, dacoits, who harmed you. But still, you're telling you're forgiving them. And you're telling to give them more charity. Why? Then Jayadeva Goswami told, see, now they are in this position, means doing this robbery, dacoitery. Why? Because they have some anxiety in life. So if you go give more and more charity to them, so they'll be come out of this anxiety. They'll come out of this anxiety. So basically I'm highlighting this point, how these great personalities are. Whatever harm may be done to them, they'll not take it. They'll just forgive. And even they look for the welfare of other personalities. So they will never ever being inimical to anyone. So while in Bhagavatam, I think first canto, so Shukadeva Goswami gives one title to Yudhishthira Maharaj, Ajata Shatruhu, the one who don't have enemies, to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So these are the great personalities. They don't have any enemies. And simultaneously they think about the others' welfare. So that's what the quality is mentioned here. Titiksha Karuniha Suhrada Sarvadehinam. This is one lesson we can learn from Jayadeva Goswami's life, great acharyas. So when one is fixed in Krishna consciousness, they are always blissful and want to give that bliss to others also. They want to forgive. And whenever some mistake happens, they seek forgiveness. They don't think twice. I am a great devotee. Why should I go and ask forgiveness? No. They don't do it like this. One nice pastime from Chaitanya Leela. Anyone know? Great devotee seeking forgiveness from other devotee. Yes, Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami was in his trance. So in his trance he was seeing the pastime that Radha and Krishna, they are doing some pastimes. And Radha was climbing this trunk of the tree. And Krishna is holding on the edge. He just left it. And Radharani went up. And Rupa Goswami thinking of this is laughing. And there is another devotee passing on the way. And his body limbs are not proper. He was in a different way he's walking. And this devotee got offended. Say, how? This person looking at me, he laughed at me, got offended. And later he wants to arrange this great festival, Rupa Goswami. I don't know exactly. So finally got to know. Some devotee got offended because of me. So finally got to know about this, and he went and asked secret forgiveness from particular this great devotee. So in this way we see when comes to the about a bodily consciousness and fixed in Krishna consciousness, he is ready to forgive and seek forgiveness also. This is about the Lord devotees, and even the Lord also says, when one is fixed in Krishna consciousness, even though he may be doing some bad activities, but is determined in the path, I'll forgive him. In Bhagavad Gita, what is the sloka? Apiche surada charo bhajate ma mananya bhag sadhreva samantafyas savyas avasito sataha. So still is apiche suduracharo. Even though he has done very obnoxious activity, but still he is determined to take shelter of me only and no one else. And Acharya says, what is that? He is doing this, but he should be repentant whatever the nonsense he has done behind. The fire of remorse. But he is not repentant. ठीक है, done some nonsense activity, Krishna will forgive, so merciful, all merciful. Bhakti is powerful, Krishna is all merciful. And he's just continuing, he will not be forgiving. He is a sadhu then. So sadhu means who is fixed in taking shelter of the Lord and repenting because of the sinful activities done. Then he will be forgiven. Krishna himself is forgiven. And the next slok immediately he says, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantini gacchati kaunteya pratijanehi nabe bhakta pranashyati. Immediately he comes to the right position. Oh Arjuna, go out and declare this. My devotee will never perish because I'll forgive them. Maybe sometimes externally we see devotees maybe doing some obnoxious activities. But still if he's fixed in his determination in taking the shelter of the Lord and repenting what he has done. And another point Acharya says, even though he's committing the sinful activities, obnoxious activities again and again, but still is repentant of this activity what he has done, Krishna is ready to forgive. And Krishna is forgiving here. And Krishna, he himself seeks forgiveness. Any pastime? Which you remember? Devotees to take care. Krishna person, the supreme personality of Godhead, seeking forgiveness from other personalities. Huh? No? So Krishna seeking forgiveness. Yes. Brugumani, yes, one pastime we see. Brugumani came and this the whole story is different. So he only, when Brugumani came and kicked on the hard chest where Lakshmi Devi stays, and he told, oh my dear Brugumani, you kicked on my heart is very hard like stone, your feet maybe got some injury, let me invite you. Another beautiful pastime exactly related to this is when 4 Kumaras went to Vaikuntha, they want to get the entry, and Jai Vijay stops. And the whole curse, everything happens. Finally, Lord comes personally. Something is happening outside my gate, Vaikuntha. He personally comes and he tells, oh my dear great Brahmanas, you are Brahmanas, and these are my devotees, my assistants. If they would have done some mistake, please forgive me. They are my assistants, my devotees. Please forgive me. You are Brahmanas, and Brahmanas are very dear to me. If anyone does some mistake to the Brahmana, it's very, very pitiable. It's not correct. And looking at this, 4 Kumaras, Lord is seeking for your forgiveness. And 4 Kumaras, they said, Lord, what are you doing? You are my dear Lord, you are Supreme Personality of Godhead. What are you doing? It's a mistake of us. Please forgive us for this nonsensical activity, cursing your devotees. So to and fro, Prabhupada and all the commentaries mention Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So they said sometimes they talk about the 4 Kumaras. These are the wrong people. They have done the mistakes. Sometime about Jai Vijay, where they are not allowing them into the Vaikuntha planet. And finally, Acharyas tell, the whole mistake is Krishna. And Krishna finally tells, he only declares, you please don't be in the sad situation. It's just my plan. It's just because of me this happened. So I just want to have the desire to fight in the material world. So someone has to go to fight. Anyone, he cannot play with anyone and anyone. So with these devotees. So finally tells, it is my plan. My plan. So what are we understanding finally? So seeking forgiveness and forgiving others. So what are the mistakes he has done? So Krishna is personally showing his example from Bhagavatam, and many great devotees. And if I'm not getting that mood of seeking forgiveness or not forgiving, then I can declare that I'm not so elevated. There's a lot way to progress on the path of bhakti, and that is what in the purport Prabhupada is telling. So if anyone is desiring to return to Godhead, to become submissive, like it is the duty of everyone desiring to return to Godhead, to become submissive to like King Rahugana and beg pardon of Vaishnavas. One may have offended. Vaishnavas are generally very kind-hearted. Therefore, if one immediately submits himself at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, one is immediately cleared of offensive reactions. If one does not do so, the reactions will remain and the results will not be very palatable. So finally, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So giving the commentary on this 10 offenses. So there he says, devotees may think, devotees are however merciful. They always forgive. So why to ask and go and seek forgiveness? They'll forgive. One should not do this. Since I am chanting 16 hours daily and doing some service, the chanting will remove the offenses. No. So Vishwanath Chakravarti, one has to go and ask forgiveness, seek forgiveness. Ask for pardon for them, for the offenses they have done. Only then he will be forgiven. Or else there is no other hope. Yeah, Krishna will forgive for all the offenses we have done. But until unless when devotees get offended, if devotees are not be asking for forgiveness, then Krishna will not take it. Even if you go in front of the Lord and seek forgiveness, Krishna will not forgive. The great example we have seen on the other day, Amrish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni went to the Lord and saying, I have done such a mistake, please help me. It was no question. You have to go to my devotee and ask forgiveness. So this is an important lesson which we can take from today's discussion. Okay? So with this I would like to conclude. Any questions? One or two? Yes.
Expecting anything for himself, and then he doesn't think that how others have done something bad to him, but he will always do good for others. So he will always serve others. So you mentioned Yudhishthira Maharaj at the beginning. So there it's very nice. The same thing comes to Krishna for me. What I mentioned that Yudhishthira Maharaj, Dhritarashtra was he lost everything, all his son and everything, the whole kingdom, and he was staying with Yudhishthira Maharaj. So then there Srila Prabhupada was mentioning that as soon as Dhritarashtra left and Gandhari left, then Yudhishthira was very much in anxiety. And the question was that the whole life Dhritarashtra has tortured him. So why so much of anxiety? Somebody has tortured me throughout the life. And why to think so much about that person? He is living, it's okay. But Srila Prabhupada is writing now, a devotee of the Lord will never think that what bad he has done to him, how he has bad things he has done to me, but let me serve him. He just forgets everything, and then he just tries to serve that person. So that's what he gets to do. Serving with the best of his capacity, without thinking about his Rashtra. So this is what this came from. So one question is not related. So related to offences. So if one commits intentionally an offence, then it is understood that the action will come and we have to seek it. But if let's say for example in that case, the past time where Guru Swami is then unintentionally the offence happens. So if it happens with us, unintentionally some offense happens, someone gets offended without that notice. So how to what will happen?
That's fine.
If I don't come to know, how will it be taken care of?
Yeah. Many answers for this. So one thing we can understand is immediately our sadhana goes down. So how much intensely we are doing nice chanting, everything. We are continuous. We are not doing any sinful activity. We are trying our best to do it. Somehow our chanting goes down. Then we can immediately understand that somewhere or there some mistake happened. Either I might have engaged my mind more in the material activities or done some offense. And this will happen when there is a serious Vaishnava aparadha. So this one can read it to understand. I have done some offense, either nama aparadha, whatever. And unintentionally we can tell many things, like we ever do deity worship. Sometimes it happens, mind will be there, we have to concentrate. Unintentionally many things happens. And even while chanting also. We want to hear the mantra. Who don't want to hear the mantra? Want to hear. But somehow mind goes out. It's unintentional. We want to chant. It goes away. So that's why, especially when Vaishnava aparadha happens, that's why every day we chant this. Vancha kalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhyacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So when devotees are there, we can offer this. And when we don't know to whom we have committed offense. Since we are not like Rupa Goswami, we don't know. So what to do? Just to go in front of the Lord and seek forgiveness. May not be. I don't know what offense I have done, to whom I have done. Please forgive me. Another practical thing is, one is going in front of the Lord and going to, if time permits, if we have that intensity of devotion, we want to go back to Godhead. So those who have that desire, intense desire, one-pointed focus, they'll search out each and every opportunity to get closer to Krishna. So when you find some disturbance in the life, it takes out time and goes to each and every devotee and asks, Prabhuji, I have done some offense to you. Please forgive me. So I think a couple of years back, one devotee came, one Grihastha devotee, and is our community only. So he's telling Prabhuji, my chanting is not going. He was going to each and every devotee and asking forgiveness. Prabhuji, if I have offended you, please forgive me. It's so touching, that is so touching. Senior devotee, Grihastha devotee, and he's asking, going to each and every brahmachari, another Grihastha also seeking forgiveness. So Krishna will be very pleased. And Krishna's Paramatma, he knows. He's sincerely repenting this. He's sincerely, but he don't know. So Krishna is seeing this. So Krishna will help. In Harinam Chintamani seminar also, so this question was raised. If you don't know to whom we have committed offense, the only solution is going in front of the Lord and seeking forgiveness and chanting more and more rounds. And practical thing, going in front of them, all the devotees possible, and seeking forgiveness. If you find out some particular devotee, then will tell, this is what happened. Then when we ask forgiveness, automatically other devotee will say something good. So sorry, Prabhuji, something. He will also seek forgiveness. This is my mistake. He will not tell, this is the risk. Come, ask forgiveness. No one will tell. This quite difficult. This is what the answer which I got. I'm just sharing with you. Hope this answers your question. Yes. Last question.
The second offense is considering the demigods like Lord Shiva or equal to an independent God. So who takes the offense from that? You're considering it's like Lord Shiva is supreme or supreme. What is the offense in that?
Lord Shiva is supreme. I didn't understand.
They are saying that you consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal to or independent of name of Lord. Let's suppose one person is considering that Lord Shiva, you are great. You are greater than all. So who is taking that offense? Means what offense is it?
Simple. Since he is considering the particular demigod on the level of Krishna,
Krishna will not take offense.
Krishna will not take offense. It's a holy name, right? Naam aparat. So we cannot get the taste in the naam. Understanding? So Krishna is basically, so the offense is taken. Who is taking? That's the question. Who is taking the offense? So basically the naam which takes. These are all the naam aparats, right? So Vaishnava aparat is also one of the part of naam aparat. The third one, not following the instructions and disobeying the whatever it is, instructions vagera. So basically you will not get the taste in the holy name. So basically holy name takes the offense. If others who are materialists who don't know about bhakti, that's a different thing. They don't know the philosophy. But who knows philosophy, practicing devotional service very nicely, but still depending on the other demigods. There is no problem in respecting them, but need not worship them. But considering them on the level of the Supreme Lord, that is also Nama Aparat. So this is what my understanding. That's what. Automatically Krishna takes the offense. Finally, so Krishna means not only Krishna, his paraphernalia, his devotees, his holy name, his dham, everything includes. So this is my understanding. We can discuss with other senior devotees also in detail. Basically Krishna only, you can tell. Holy name, Krishna, devotees. They feel uncomfortable, yeah, for sure.
I should be considered supreme.
But there is no offense because so many followers of Shiva, they are considered very kind.
Because they're in the ignorance, they don't know it. So we can discuss on this more. We can check with other devotees also, senior devotees. I'll also ask. Very nice question. Okay? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Krishna Govinda.